Make sure. I'll do roll call. Yeah. All right. Let's make sure our cell phones are on silent. Please and thank you. All right. Welcome to Palms West Athletic Association monthly board meeting. It's Wednesday, February 27th, 2019. That calls the meeting to order. Can everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mike Laverano, he is here. Our VP position is vacant. Terry Strout, here. Treasurer, vacant. Director of Cheer, we haven't had one in a while, so that's still vacant. Director of Football is vacant. Director of Scholastics, vacant. Director of Fundraising, vacant. Adam Charles will not be here. Okay. There's no AD of Cheer. No AD of Football. There is no AD of Fundraising. There is no Director of Volunteers ever. That'll be one position that'll be going by. And last but not least, the Village of Royal Palm Beach, Steve Pointer, is here. All right, everybody has a copy of the minutes from last month's meeting. They were sent to you the same night we had a meeting, and they were sent again today. Can I get a motion to approve?
Can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. All right, reports. Steve, we'll start with you.
Just reminders to get the rosters as soon as you have them and the background affidavit.
Okay, I'll give you the background affidavit. I'll do that probably tonight or tomorrow in the morning because I ran out of ink, so I didn't print it. So you'll get an electronic copy of that. And then the rosters as well. Yeah, we're good. Yep. Yeah. Well, that'll be a little bit behind, but I'll get the 8 and 8 together. And then was there anything else? Oh, the financial report, right? The quarterly. Okay. Sam? Anything to report?
We in new business or old business? New business, right?
Well, just your report.
We had added new helmets. I think we added 30 helmets. We purchased 30 helmets to start the phase out of equipment, adding new equipment. What we discussed last meeting about getting new equipment and replacing helmets. 8-man football is still going strong. We had the first game Saturday. We hosted 20 teams between field 11 and field 12. Coaches are in place now. The rosters should be ready. I forward you the roster so you can forward to Steve.
Yep. Anything else? Terry, you have anything to report?
No, that's it.
No, that's it? Terry?
No reports at this time.
Tarisha? Okay. That concludes. Actually, I have the treasury report. Start balance for the day was $892.74. There was a deposit today of $93.05. Total balance right now is $10,197.74. The host fees for the weekend was $1,045. $1,200 on food. And there was bank and change of $2,000. Okay, that concludes the treasury report. Let's move on to new business. So for nominations, I received for VP, Robert Strout. Okay, unopposed. He's the only one. And same thing for Director of Football. I received Sam Curry. So that's 2 nominations right now to fill some of the vacant spots that we have. Tyresha, do you want to fill any of our vacant spots, or can you fill any of our vacant spots? Would you like to nominate be nominated or nominate yourself for any of the spots?
Can I nominate her for chair?
Slow down.
Can I nominate her for chair? Hey, we need her.
Yeah, but we need report cards and other stuff like that. Remember, we need to fill our vacant spots so that we can adhere to our rules and restructure and do all that stuff. So it's scholastics, fundraising, treasury. Those are all the executive spots need to be filled.
I help with fundraising.
So you want to nominate for fundraising? Okay. Okay. So let it reflect she's nominated, and you obviously accept the nomination. Now, just to point out so you know ahead of time, that will be like one position that is going to have, we want to change and restructure rather than having only one person fundraising. We're looking to actually establish a committee. So that position might change or might actually be done away based on what we vote on. Okay, so just so you know ahead of time. That's once we can vote on stuff and say, no, we don't like this, or yes, we like that, or that's a good model to move forward with.
So would you, is it something like, I try to get a committee, and then we plan fundraisers for the year?
Right, it's got to be a year-round thing. You can't be like, oh, for these 2 weeks, we're going to try and fundraise as much money as possible, because that doesn't work. But what I'm saying is the specific position of director of fundraising might change. It might be something that the treasurer overlooks, or maybe that the executive board appoints the committee, and we have, say, 6 members or 8 members or however many members required. So you might fall under in the committee itself, rather than just one person trying to seek funds for the league. Okay. So that leaves director of cheer still vacant, director of scholastics will still be vacant, and the treasury spot will still
Are
be
we gonna
vacant.
still have the director of scholastic as part of the executive board, or are we?
It won't be executive, and the thing is, my thinking was, and I'll kind of go over it later, but I'll touch on it real quick since you asked. We don't need scholastics for flag or 8-on-8, so that's more of a seasonal commitment. It's just a job for Pop Warner, so it doesn't. I don't think it's necessarily going to drive the program. It only drives a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do, is have, a core 5, like 5 or 6 or however many we decide on, that kind of runs the program, and then we're going to have different breakdowns of, this group will take care of 8-on-8, this group takes care of flag, this group deals with Pop Warner. Because right now the way the bylaws are set is that everybody in Pop Warner has to take care of everything, and it doesn't work. It's not set up the right way. We've grown, so it's time to change our model, our structure, and the bylaws and all that goes with it. So to be more efficient is the big thing. All right, so you have all that marked down? If not, I got the notes.
Had a nomination for director of fundraiser, but you just nominated.
Well, you can, no, there can be 2. There doesn't, we can, because, well, no, but here's the thing. I mean, there can be 1 nomination or 10, and it's got to go to a vote. So even though we have only 1 for VP and for director of football, if I receive another one before we close it, all the people that are left still in term have to vote on the members. So if you have somebody else, let me know.
It was Woodell McGee.
Okay. All right, so let the record reflect that. We have 2 nominations for Director of Fundraising, Tyresha Copper and Woodell McGee. All right. Anybody else? Anything else as far as nominations? How about you, Joe? Okay. You want to fill a spot? Anything in the executive spot? No? Okay, because I don't think that's something that's going to change. It just might be where you're appointed, whether it's tackle or Pop Warner, or like I said, it's going to be a seasonal appointment. So
How about treasurer?
I have a nomination for that too.
Oh yeah.
Good, with the more the merrier.
I have Nicole Cruz.
And we had actually spoken earlier
Yeah, I told her
today.
to call you.
Yep. So for treasurer. So you can either accept now, or you can, if you want to postpone, that's fine. We'll just let you know. So if you do want to accept, just if I can get you to step up to the mic, just announce your name and that you accept that position.
This is Nicole Lynch Cruz, and I accept the nomination for treasurer position.
Thank you. All right, you got that down?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Anybody else have any other nominations? Oh, you can only do one job, though. You can only fill one executive spot, and that won't change when...
So do you want to get taken off director of fundraiser? I'll keep fundraising, because I know cheer's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, okay,
You just don't have enough volunteers.
here's the thing.
If you could gather people who are willing to assist you in coaching.
I think we should wait another season. I don't have an issue with it coming back, but like I said before, it just has to be done right. And I think right now, the smarter thing to do is to get the core right, get everything in place, because then you're just adding something. It's not as hard, because everything will be in the right spot.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be flag? Like, could it be cheer for flag? So if we don't start like fall, maybe spring?
Absolutely, because you can use it as a recruiting tool to bring girls into the program. I mean, that's...
And I have
That
been
could be
getting
like a
phone calls for that.
2020 goal.
So, I mean, there's...
Can I? Actually, you can have cheer for 8-on-8.
So,
Tiger football. They actually have a cheer program. So if you want to start in spring next year, we can start off with doing it for 8-on-8.
so you can get I'm sure a lot of the boys that play have sisters, so they're already going to be traveling to the games. So, I mean, that was the big part of having 8-on-8 and flag was
This is another issue that
a recruiting tool.
Yeah, but cheer also requires a lot more. Like, first, I feel like we need to have a committed gym or location for practice, because we can't teach tumbling or flipping
Right.
without. I mean, we can't keep doing it in the grass. We can only teach so much in the grass.
And that's been our problem, that we haven't had facilities.
So
And
we
we
haven't-
try to acquire them, but nobody wants to work with us. Like,
Right.
and there's a lot of travel teams you were telling me that they're just, it makes it hard.
In
So-
order to teach the girls to actually grow, 5, 6, and 7, that's fine on the grass. But in order to, for progression and back handsprings and all this stuff that we want a great cheer program, we need to, I think first, before we start the cheer program, which I would love to start it back up, but we need to have a committed gym. Either it's Crestwood and they give us the same times, or we have a gym on Saturdays or something to
Right.
prepare.
I mean, if you don't do it right, it just looks bad on us.
Are you looking for gymnastics, gym, or just the gymnasium at a
If we could secure a location with padded mats, or the spring floor, so that the girls can get used to that, would be awesome. Pop Warner does have the ability for cheer to go national. Pop Warner does. They go through all these levels. And it would benefit, I think, if we're gonna really put and focus like we are in football into cheer.
Well, I mean, I think we should
Well,
just be,
not now.
it's a national organization. You can go
Yes.
national, so let's go national.
maybe in fall, do like it could be a fundraiser as well. We can just do like a weekend cheer camp and see the outcome we have, and then from there,
Well, you probably want to do it in the summer.
Yeah.
well, fall we have everyone there already.
Yeah, but remember, they have to go through the same registration and certification process as football. So you got to do it ahead of time, because they're going to have to get their paperwork checked, their physicals done. They're going to have to go to book check. The only thing they don't do is weigh in.
No, she's saying for like a cheer
just
camp.
just a cheer.
Just the cheer camp.
Under the Pop Warner rules,
Yeah, we can't.
once August, 9th of August, July something, you cannot have any more camps. That's with football, and I think they go the same thing in cheer.
Right.
Because you can have camp throughout the whole summer with cheer, but it's a certain cutoff date where Pop
Second
Warner
week.
stop you.
Second week of July.
July the 20th or something like that. They stop you from doing camps. So I have to have all my football camps in before July. Before July, the second week of July, I think. So I think it's the same thing for cheer.
Well, I think we need to proceed with the cheer talk probably afterwards. That's
Right.
a whole nother situation. I think we should, but there is a lot to talk about with the cheer program. And I do believe, and I feel like we need to bring it back. I am receiving phone calls. I do receive emails that I have to direct girls to other areas.
Right.
Which it's hard to do that, especially because I'm like, gosh, I want to rebuild that program. I was in it for so long.
Okay.
So let's move on. Sorry.
So we'll table it for now, but we'll circle back and do it once we get everything taken care of. All right. So nominations, we are done with that. Next new business item, technology Wi-Fi. I was actually talking to Sam the other day. You know how we have the hotspot at the field. It's only got like 2 gigs, and it's like $25 a month. We're always running out. So I was thinking, I know with cell phones, I add one to my account, or we can get one just for the league for like $30 a month, and you'll get like 15 gigabytes of just hotspot. And I mean, the other benefit to that is that you can hand that phone out. So if somebody needs it to call for registration or to hunt down paperwork, and I mean, the league will also have its own number. So rather than calling everybody's personal line and it getting missed, you can know, oh, hey, we got 10 missed calls on here. Somebody's got to return it. So that's
something. Have the phone on rotating schedules?
They'll leave it at the field. Well, just leave it at the field. Trust me, we're going to be there.
Right now, with the way we have the online set up, you can call myself, Mike,
Right.
Rob, and then we can have a phone just for like PWA. So when we at the field, they can call the PWA phone.
The added benefit is the telephone line, but the big thing is just you get for the same amount. Well, for $5 more, you get like 8 times the amount of data. So you need it to, for your printing or when we go online and register, or when you have to run the cash register and stuff like that. So I mean, $25, 2 gigs, or $30, 15 gigs. I don't know. It's just.
And the thing we ran into right now, and the reason why we're trying to push it is because we ran into the situation, like you said, where it was kept running out of gigabytes, and we couldn't use the internet to use the cash register, which we really need.
Right. So I would just turn on my hotspot, but then it kills though. Somebody's got to call me, for field stuff. Then I got to run over there and.
So what phone did you guys price out?
I was looking to go with Metro. I mean, it would be anywhere from like $79 to $149. I would not try to get the cheaper option, obviously, because the service won't matter. But something, and another thing we can do, we can use it for all our social media stuff, and we need to get better about that as well. So I mean, it'll be easier if you have the app on the phone. We can send out somebody, while you have game days or camps or practice or whatever, and just, snap a few pictures, upload it. So we can talk about it. I mean, we'll need to vote on that, so we can't do that now. But I want to bring it up so that it's out there. I think it's a smart thing to look into. All right, and we're good with that. All right, so I handed out the hierarchy. Everybody should have a copy of how I'm thinking we need to break down.
The restructure.
Yep. It's just we'll go over it real quick that. We need to have just an executive board that kind of sits over all the programs that we run. And those will obviously be, every meeting we have, they have to attend because they're going to be the guys and gals that drive the program. So it's kind of setting, whether it's budgets, funding, going over rules, talking with the village. Those are the people that, are going to have to be obviously the most committed and, willing and able to fill those spots. It doesn't necessarily mean that the executive board is going to carry out like field operations. Right now, the way that it's set up, it kind of forces you to commingle. You have to be, say, this commissioner and out in the field, or you have to be the president and out there on the field, and that makes it tough to be at the field, and try to be in here, 2 places at once. I haven't perfected it. I don't know anybody else that has, so we want to get away from that. So basically, we'd have the executive board would reflect the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and an athletic director. So if we have football and cheer, the reason I think we should put the athletic director is so that right now we don't have cheer. And right now the cheer commissioner is an executive spot. So it wouldn't, we'd always have an empty spot, an empty seat up here. So I think we have just an athletic director anywhere that we have cheer, whether it's flag 8-on-8 or Pop Warner, they can take their issues to the athletic director, and the athletic director can reflect the vote of both football and cheer. And it would kind of just take away that issue. Mm-hmm. So that would be a new position that we've never had. Then the branch off to that, and this is what we'll discuss once we have enough people to vote, is the fundraising committee, who will oversee it, whether the executive board appoints it or whether we have the treasurer or any 2 executive members appoint the committee. And I don't think that we should necessarily put a cap on how many people. I think you need as many bodies as possible. If they can only give you an hour a week, that's an hour a week more than we got now. So that'll be something to look at. And then what? So from the executive board, then we have a committee, which is a branch, and then branching off the executive board, we'll have general board members. So we'll have a group for flag football, a group for 8-on-8, and a group for Pop Warner. Pop Warner is pretty much set in stone. They give you what they required. So I know, Sam, you laughed earlier when you said compliance team, but that's actually what they call the registrar, the person who does the team books and scholastics. Which is it's a little bit of her, a little bit of me, a little bit of Robert. Player safety coach. I mean, we can let that role be filled by an assistant commissioner, or we can have it as a separate, but they do recognize it as a separate position in Pop Warner. Then obviously you'll have your football commissioner, your cheer commissioner, and they can have, we can appoint assistants as needed, depending on how many teams we have. 8-on-8 is a lot simpler. You don't really have as much craziness going on, so you pretty much need just a commissioner to oversee it, or a director, and just somebody to take care of registrations, field ops, uniforms, equipment. That's also something I left off on the Pop Warner. We'll definitely need somebody for uniforms and equipment. And then for flag, I mean, it's kind of a repeat, a director and then some coordinators just to take care of, setting up the fields for games, uniforms, new flags, new football, stuff like that. And obviously with the general spots, they can be a seasonal commitment. So say if a parent, can only, or whoever wants to, I can only give you during spring. Okay, great. So we can say, hey, flag or 8-on-8. Or I can only give you during the fall, or I only coach in fall, so I can only really dedicate my fall time, Pop Warner. There'll be plenty of spots that they can fill that it's just jobs we need. I think some people get scared when they hear, executive position or a 2-year term, and they shy away. But maybe if we make it a little more attractive and say, hey, this is your job, this is what you're going to do for this period of time, they can give you a better answer.
Quick question.
Yep.
Since we just discussing restricting the blueprint, I guess it's more of a question for Steve. Are we able to push flag back a little more, or is it like a date where we have to cut out because of the fields to be ready for fall?
You can't. We got come June. We have to start shutting the fields down.
So basically in May we have to finish, yeah.
So in June, you have to be finished by June, right? Before June. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure. So the 8-on-8 won't run into I know there's a run into flag, but not on top of each other.
Right.
That's why we kind of shifted to where we gave you January, and we wrote that into the thing to where you have January before flagging.
So I mean, maybe
if you start flag like you're pretty much going to do pretty much in March, you pretty much have 2 months.
Right.
8-on-8.
So I mean, it might reflect that this season that we started in March, so that way that 8-on-8's on and going, and then
it still gives you
plenty of time.
Okay.
Plenty of time. So that's probably the way it's going to end up, and we'll probably follow that from there on out. All right, so that conducts new business or completes new business, old business.
One more thing too. That's also hopefully it's going to help next year. I've talked to the county about whenever they do their little tournament. They've always had back-to-back weekends.
In April.
Next year I'm going to have them try to separate the weekends to where, because the second weekend's always just a rain-out date. They rarely ever use it. Only if that first one gets rained out, they use it. So if it's like there's a week separated in between, and they don't have to use that rainout date, that gives you guys 2 weeks to be able to plan something to where you can actually use that week.
Right, that could be 3 or 4 games in a 2-week period, and that's half a season.
Gives you a little extra time as well.
Okay. Did I give the dates, by the way, since we're talking about it?
Yeah, I'll give them to you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
It's in April, so I can't remember which.
It's usually always like the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a community director to keep us updated on community stuff.
Our village liaison. Yes.
But other than
Well-
provide anything for the community, 'cause we do have we actually go I know you give us an event.
So you mean like an outreach?
Like an outreach type person. Is that something we want to add? I mean, it looks.
Oh, once there, we can bring that up once we actually sit down to really hammer out. Yeah, this is not set in stone. This is just
Good idea.
somewhere to start.
Okay, because I'm just.
I mean, and I think that here's going to not change much, but down here and the general spots is probably where it's going to change. Where that's going to be the most, because like every program has different needs. So.
Like so many things that we can do, like as organization, like just for the community, like turkeys. Like I talked to you about that, but we couldn't get it arranged. Like
Right.
we donate turkeys for us to give to our parents, or like back to school, and like stuff that just really doesn't happen in rural home.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, it's something, definitely bring it up when we have our workshop. I won't put it in the notes. It'll be in the notes. Okay, old business. So flag football, first round of evals will start this Saturday at 11 a.m. Hopefully there'll be nobody on the field, right? No, I should have all 3 fields to myself.
For Saturday, yes.
No, but I did the smart thing. I scheduled certain people, so I'm not going to be, I got help, but I'm not going to have like 1,000 people out there.
I forgot to report. Since
Yep.
you said it, field 10 is now open.
Mm-hmm.
It got open Sunday, right? Sunday, field 10 became available for flag football and 8-on-8. So it's available for you if you need it.
All right. So once we get teams picked and all that, then we'll coordinate field use for the 2 programs.
You know, once you let me know how many
Right.
teams you have, we can coordinate practice and everything else.
All right. So like you already mentioned, we hosted games this past weekend. We had 20 games. We did a lot of work. I'm still tired, and it's almost Sunday again. I already went over the fees. I covered that in the treasury report. And just so that our board and board members, that section, we nominated people. We're still making changes. So that'll be an old business probably for another meeting or 2. And then we can move on and have some more new business. All right, we don't have much of a public, but do we have any comments from the public? Do we have any comments from the board?
I got to add one thing I forgot. I'm sorry. The Junior Pee Wee National Championship team got approved by the Village Council to host their banquet March the 17th at the Royal Palm Beach Cultural Center from 6:30 to 9:30. Executive board are invited to come and celebrate with the Junior Pee Wee team. March 17th, 6:30 p.m. Until 9:30. The fee was waived. The Village Council decided to waive and get it to us for free. So if you guys don't have anything to do, the executive board is invited to come. Also, we're gonna send out invites to the Village Council and the Steve to come and celebrate with us. Also, we're still working on the opening night rain ceremony in July. So like we did last year, we did the opening ceremony for part 1 of the season. This year we're gonna do something different. Where we actually at the field, we're gonna do the same thing as like introducing people to the coaches, telling them about part 1 and what we expect as an organization. But also we're gonna put the rain ceremony into it too. Steve will be coordinating with me as far as what we need at the field. So I just wanted to add that.
Is there any dress code?
For the banquet, yes,
Yeah.
it's semi-formal.
Semi-formal.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're not showing up in
No, it's semi-formal. Don't
flag
come in-
football clothes.
Don't come in flag football clothes or jeans. Try to.
I'll be there. I'll be late.
Okay.
I'm gonna come right after church.
Very good.
Okay, we got a good lineup. Hopefully everything. Actually, Marjorie is in charge of the decoration, so hopefully everything end up being good. And I'll let you guys know.
All right. So we have no other comments? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, just if you can get, yeah. Important stuff, yeah, on the mic.
This is Nicole. And I had a question about the workshops.
Yeah.
Is that where you identify your goals for the next year? Or action items to complete,
Yeah,
summer,
that's where we want to do like the
spring?
meat of the work. Like this is probably the longest meeting I've ever conducted.
Okay.
Usually we're out of here in about 20 minutes. But yeah, that's where we try to do, because I'm pretty sure people watching this don't want to see the back and forth.
Right.
Maybe they do, I don't know. But yeah, that's where we get, we hash it out and draw plans and pros and cons. And then actually in April, once all that stuff, that's where we'd actually say, okay, this is, the budget should be defined and we're allocating this for that. And that's kind
Has
of
that
like,
been scheduled yet?
no, that's always our April meeting. So that's when the
Okay.
budget since you're concerned about treasury stuff, the budget,
Appreciate that.
yeah. April meeting.
April.
So just take a note also, our meetings are always the fourth Wednesday of every month. Same time, same place, unless otherwise noted.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Any,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting will be March 27th, 2019 at 7 p.m.